this episode of Buff's Garage, I'm taking the A-Team van all the way to Duct Tape Drags in Tucson, Arizona, with a few stops along the way. On this episode of Buff's Garage, I took a retired undercover police van and turned it into the coolest A-Team van at Duct Tape Drags. I love it when a van comes together. Good morning. I'm up bright and early trying to mask this thing off to finish the red. Okay, this is as good as I'm going to get it, so I want to get this completely sprayed as much as possible so it has time to dry before I got to go. All right, things are really starting to add up here to where I can probably get this knocked out and get out of here in the next hour or so. Got good oil pressure, temps looking good, plenty of volts out of the old voltage meter. About half a tank of gas, I'll kind of be watching what kind of mileage I get, but we're cruising along at 80 mile an hour with the cruise set and the AC going. Just cruising along the interstate here. Oh my goodness. On the turnpike, almost to Oklahoma City, but I'm gonna go ahead and stop for some fuel and just kind of take a look at the vitals on this thing, check the oil and such, and make sure everything's doing well. I seem to be driving fine. I'm able to keep up on the interstate. Everybody's driving around like they got their head up their butt. All the soccer mom bands running around. Nobody seems to know where they're going. In a hurry, but they don't know where they're going. It's about right. So, completely expected issue. Every single stop that I make, this thing immediately draws attention. The first stop, I just grabbed a drink and got on the road. I had several people come up to me and immediately when I talked about the van, I passed out some stickers, talked about the channel a little bit, and of course they got some pictures with the van, so that's awesome. Just had another car roll up, and unfortunately I didn't have the camera on, but they wanted to buy the van, so I gave them a price just under $5,000 so I could make it into the Battle of the Beaters at Duct Tape Drags. They mentioned that they could still smell the paint. Yeah, it's literally just finished today, so it could use a sanding, it could use some clear coat, but you know what, it's going to get us to Duct Tape Drags and it's definitely getting attention. So let me get fueled up and back on the road. It wouldn't be a Buff's Garage travel video without a little drama. I got all these lug nuts on. I made sure they were tight before I left. I did not recheck them. I was actually rechecking them now, but here I am in Texas. So I probably waited too long. But when I went to recheck them, I noticed one lug nut was gone. and then I noticed one was backed off. So I went ahead and went to snug them all down, and they all felt like they were cross-threaded when I know they weren't cross-threaded when I put them on. So here I am breaking off the wheel studs to get this last lug nut off, because they have been spinning on the stud, so they got loose enough. I never felt a wobble or anything inside, so they were just tight enough to hold the wheel on, but they're loose enough that they were busting out the threads on the stud there. So I'm gonna just break this last one off. I've got new lug nuts and studs. We'll get this roadside repaired here at, gosh, it's probably 10 o'clock at night. I don't know if I'll get back on the road tonight or tomorrow, but we're gonna get this done so that I can at least drive somewhere, because that's probably not gonna get me very far. And I've only got one lug nut even barely holding, so one bump or turn and this wheel's off, and more damage than I can even think of. So, all right, I'm gonna work to get this one off and see if I can't fix this. All right, so I got those studs fixed. I got the good lug nuts on here. So just to show you, these are cheap aluminum lug nuts, and this is aluminum rim. These are steel lug nuts with steel studs. But what I want to show you is they feel snug, and I went ahead and let the jack down so the tire doesn't turn. But what you don't see is there's actually still space there. So these really need to be tight, and then when you're driving down the road, you need to come back and retighten them. So I'd actually stopped to check all these and get gas, and I noticed one was missing and one was loose. So I went to tighten the loose one, and it snapped off. And then I found that all the others, we had one hanger on, which I got knocked out of there, but all the others snapped off as well. All right, let me get these tightened up. I'll check all the rest, and then we're heading back on the road. And this is why you bring the tools to do this on the side of the road. Took a little bit, but we're back in action. I want to point out that I use the cheap aluminum lug nuts, except for a few, on all these rims. And this one had one loose, the other four were fine. Coming around to the driver's side, this one had one loose, tightened it up. And I used 3 of the new steel lug nuts from lugnutguys.com. None of those backed off, but those 2 aluminum ones did. So quality of lug nuts is important. Also, with aluminum rims, always recheck. So this rim could have been doing the same thing as that one very soon. So I got those tightened up, got that one tightened, and the one on the other side tightened, and now these are all repaired. Yes, it's ugly, but we'll clean it up. We'll reshoot everything red, put the center cap back on, but for now, I want to do this, recheck it in the morning before I put any real miles on it. Once again, special thanks to lugnutguys.com for your sponsorship and for giving me a whole bag of lug nuts to bring with me, because I'm now sold that I will be replacing all the crappy ones with the good quality ones from lugnutguys.com, and re-torque your nuts, please. Okay, that's it for tonight. I'm gonna call it a night. I plan to put more miles behind me and get further, maybe even into New Mexico, but that's not happening. So here I am in Shamrock, Texas. I always like to stop at this gas station in Shamrock, Texas. Every time I come through, this is my stop. Got gas, check the lug nuts, and boom, problem. But it's well lit, it's open 24 hours, and there's a hotel right across the street, which I will be partaking in right now. All right, see you in the morning. And this is why you cruise Route 66 right here. This is an icon in the Route 66 world. Time to get the inaugural picture. It's a beautiful place. Oh, look at that van. It's gorgeous. It's really dirty though. How convenient. There's a historic Western motel right across the street. Yes, please. So go visit this Conoco station in Shamrock, Texas. And then if you need a place to sleep, right here. It's like 60 some bucks a night. Can't beat that.
Amarillo by morning.
It's morning and I'm here in Canyon, Texas, and I came back to Buffs. You knew I had to. I was hoping to already be long past here yesterday, but with the whole wheel issue and the lug nuts, it made more sense to just hunker down for the night, get a little editing done, and check things in the morning, head out on the road. So I went ahead and put a few miles down, got here to Canyon, Texas, gonna grab some breakfast, and then it's on to Roswell, New Mexico, and maybe even further. Oh, by the way, I love this new color of hat. Check them out at buffsgarage.com. And I have hoodies. At that road right back there, I officially crossed from Texas into New Mexico. That is Farwell, Texas, and the town becomes Texaco right here on the border. 18 van's doing great. Time to put some more road behind us. Elevation 6,000 feet. So I've been waiting till I get a little bit closer to Tucson to put the wing on, but there it is. It's got some self-tappers in it, not nearly long enough. So this might be the last chance that you get to see it, because if I hit any highway speed, it's probably coming off until I put some more self-tappers in. So it might make it, maybe not. I don't know. I have to say, I love it when a van comes together. So yeah, it's supposed to be a lot taller spoiler, but it will work for what we're trying to get across. And I don't think anybody will be too disappointed unless it ends up in their windshield. And if so, it wasn't me. I didn't do it. So there you go. One finished A-Team van. Well, I don't know what to tell you. This wheel is the same wheel we had problems with yesterday, and driving up down this mountain road. Must have hit a rock because I heard it hit and then go flat. So, don't know if we can save it, but for now I've got to get it off of there and get a spare on so I can get back down this mountain. Well, it doesn't really match the theme, but it's got air in it. This thing's been a lifesaver for this trip, and I'm sure for future trips. So that fixes that. Let's see if we can go find a tire. No idea if I caught that thing blowing out on video, but either way it sucked on a brand new tire. Ugh. I get it. I'm on a road that's on the side of a mountain and there's rocks in the road, and I honestly didn't see it, and I just caught just the edge of that rock right on the sidewall. So unfortunately, it is what it is. I'm gonna see if I can find a white letter tire. It's not gonna match, but if it's white letters, I don't think anybody will really notice. I'll try to find one. If not today, then tomorrow in Tucson. All right, back to the drive. Alamogordo, here we come. Just for the record, I brought 2 spares. Not only do I not trust tires, but I don't trust spare tires. So I brought 2. All right, I have no idea if all of that got videoed or not, so I'm just gonna talk about it real quick. So, driving through the mountains, blew out a tire, and I couldn't get over because there was a car coming towards me, and I really couldn't even straddle it. I thought I got over enough that I missed it, but the edge of the tire caught it. Put 2 holes in the sidewall, instantly flat, pulled over, brand new tire, gone. So I got it switched out really quickly and got myself to Alamogordo in New Mexico. I called around to every tire shop in town, and the only one that even had that size of tire was Discount Tire. He had that size, but not in white letter. They didn't have anything by Venom. They'd never even heard of it, which is pretty impressive that I bought such a cheap tire that even Discount Tire doesn't know the name Venom. Venom Power. Venom got bit by a rock and died. Here's how great this guy was. I said, here's the deal. If you don't have the tire that I need, and the one you want to sell me isn't what I want, there's nothing you can do. Oh, but there was. He said, will you be in Tucson tonight? And I told him tentatively yes, but definitely by tomorrow morning. He calls Tucson. They have a bunch of stores there, but he called the one closest to the drag strip and said, Buff is coming. I need 2 white letter tires in this size waiting for him when he gets there. But shout out to this guy at Discount Tire in Alamogordo. He went above and beyond. And usually I don't like the big chain stores, but man, I gotta tell you, name recognition, tire recognition, great guy, great service, and called ahead and got me a tire waiting for me. So I can't say anything bad. I won't say anything bad. That was above and beyond. Appreciate it. All right, so I just talked to Jay with Irish Outlaw Garage, and his fuel system has failed him somewhere in the mountains behind us. The same mountains that I was driving through when I broke down. However, he's further north-ish. He went to go see a museum that was a different direction than I went. Now, I've asked him multiple times if he'd like me to turn around, or I'm in Alamogordo, grab parts and turn around. He says no. He doesn't want me to turn around. He says, motor on. So I'm motored on. and we'll see how far we get. Tucson is just 5 short hours away. Across the desert, the white sands, the mountains, across time zones. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Yes, this is ridiculous, I know, but I just can't have this. So oh wait, I don't care. I know, gotta do a center cap, even though it's covered in dirt and grease. Alright, we'll just drive fast enough, no one will ever know. I see you running away. I pity the fool bird that tries to eat bugs off my grill. Hey man, I don't think your truck's supposed to smoke like that. Maybe he's rolling coal. Saw a sign that said exit station. All vehicles must exit when flashing. Not sure what that means. So it's like a border thing, but we're not on the border. Like it feels like I'm trying to get into Canada, or vice versa, US from Canada. They don't run my plate. Yeah, these all say Border Patrol. Border Patrol. Hello. Thank you. Apparently I was profiled and did not meet the profile. I mean, I'm in an A-Team van. How much cooler is that? Okay, let's go. Well, good morning from beautiful Tucson, Arizona. I'm about to take the van in to get the tires fixed, replaced, whatever it is that Discount Tire set up for me. Great company, although he wanted to put me closest to Tucson Dragway, and it turned out he picked the farthest one away from Tucson Dragway. I told him southeast corner of Tucson, he picked the northwest corner of Tucson. So I figured I might as well get up, give the A-Team van a little bath, and hopefully none of the paint comes off. All right, I'll just show you the after. Well, I think I got most of the bugs off of it. I'm gonna give it a wipe down once I get to Tucson Dragway, but right now I got an appointment at the tire shop I gotta get to. Made it into Tucson Dragway. Got a nice VIP trip right in. I snuck in behind Dalton. But made it into the tech line. Let's see if the A-Team van will pass tech and get to run down the track. Well, the sun's starting to go down here at Tucson Dragway. Got ourselves all locked in a good spot. Got a lot of people coming by saying hi, taking pictures of the 18 band, which personally I love. You know, when you take something that wasn't really that impressive and make it into something that basically gets attention at every stop, that's how you know you've made it. You did the right thing. The way I look at it is, I'm not trying to make a perfect replica of the 18 van. I wasn't trying to make the best version of anything. What I wanted was, for the least amount of money, can I take something and make it into something better and then drive it across the country to the desert? And that's what I pulled off, and it gets a lot of attention. Definitely got the attention of the people here. I think it's been fun running it down the drag strip, and of course, fun trip back. And it is for sale. I've already had somebody from California that wanted to know if it would pass emissions, and my guess is maybe it should. It's all pretty much original. So we'll see how that goes. I don't think I want to be walking home, but if I do, I'll take the money and on to the next project. I'm headed in for day 2 of duct tape drags in Tucson Raceway, but I gotta say 2 things. Number 1, very, very hot in Tucson. That seems to go without saying, but even though it was warm last year, it feels different. Add in the fact that a Midwesterner like me shows up and immediately has all the moisture sucked out of my body. That was kind of the thing I heard throughout for all the folks that came from a wetter climate. Tucson will pretty much dry you out. Like once you get through that desert from Las Cruces to here, you just start drying out. And anyway, hot and dry, but there was a lot of great people that I met yesterday. Now as for that, I did pass tech yesterday. I did not, however, run it down the track. There was a few guys doing test and tune for good reason. They had nicer vehicles. We know this thing's gonna be slow, and I've already kind of set up a couple of races with a couple of guys and a couple of photo shoots, one with a general lead. So I feel like getting the 80s cars together for a nice photo shoot would be cool. And if I do so, you're gonna see it here, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, the whole works. All right, so it's a little bit of a trek because Tucson Dragway is kind of out in the middle of nowhere where there's no hotels, restaurants, really anything. But that's okay. I've got cold AC where most of my friends don't, so I feel bad for them, but at the same time, I'm nice and cool in here. 107 degrees today. I'll try to get you some action photos, but also know that it's really hot. There's a lot of people here, and no offense to you guys as viewers, I want to get you the video, but these guys are here and they want to talk. They want to talk about the van, they want to talk about the channel, they want to talk about the drive. They're great people, and I want to spend the time with them while they're here. They've made the journey here, they want to talk to me. I'll catch you guys up in just a few. Oh no! You guys aren't going to believe what happened, but apparently it got too hot and the rearview mirror fell off. That's it. I'm selling it. It's no good to me now. How can I know where I'm going when I haven't seen, when I can't see where I've been? Oh wait, there's other mirrors. Anyway, onto the dragway. Well guys, here I am in the line for Battle of the Beaters judging, and this was where I got in last year, and literally the cutoff was the vehicle in front of me. So last year I showed up, got in line, missed out on the opportunity, but this year trying to get into the line early and get into the Battle of the Beaters. So here we go. Like 20 seconds, yeah, maybe 22, yeah. We need to do that. Yep.
What motor is it?
It's completely stock 5.7.
Completely stock 5.7. No diameter.
Nothing.
Okay. European NA.
Awesome.
How does that Tucson go? I wait up to it. That's great. No, this champion, this looks really cool. I have to say. We're liking it in there. Steve, it's a hearse. You want to take a ride? It's an ambulance.
Let him in! Let him in! Let him in!
Do you have time to...
That's the second one.
No?
This one was actually, he pulled it out of a swamp, so he built it.
All right, you're done.
So this is Tony Angelo's beater for Battle of the Beaters duct tape drags, and it actually runs pretty good. It's got a LS swap in it that was not running good when he got it. He put a few bucks and some time into it, drove it here from California to bring it to duct tape drags, and now he's got a make offer on the back. He doesn't want to take it home. So I get it, he probably just wants to hop a plane and go home, but I'm wondering if he'll trade straight up for the 18 van just so I have something new to play with, and he has something new to at least sell. I think it would sell well. I don't know, we're going to hit him up later and see if he's willing to swap the Nova for the 18 van. I have ice cold air, he has 5.3 LS, so I think it's an even swap. Everybody can sit in the line, the staging lanes in their vehicle with the AC going. So I got that going for me. People come up and say, what's your van got that mine doesn't? Cold AC. And the celebrity car reputation. That's about it. Because it's not fast, but it turns heads. I'm hoping we can get in the teens. I understand stock, this van should be around 16, 17, 19, somewhere in that range, I don't know. But let's hope we can get in the teens.
800's out way ahead of the 18. I think there's a reason the 18 got canceled. A 100, 1483 at 90 miles an hour, pushing a brick. And the 18 goes 20.
That was fun. Guys smoked me. All right, left lane. Holy got a 20.142. I will admit I missed a shift, but yeah, he got a 14. My reaction time sucked, but I said I was gonna run a 22. Looks like the hearses just ran. I spent the rest of the evening hanging out with friends, not only the ones I met up with, but also many new ones that I'm going to have for years to come. The next morning, I packed up and headed out to meet with Jay from Irish Outlaw Garage, who took a side trip to Tombstone, Arizona. Well, it's sweltering here in Tucson, Arizona, so I need to head east. Get home, on to the next project. This gentleman stopped me to tell me all about his truck that he bought brand new off the showroom floor. He even showed me the worn out door panel where he hangs his arm outside the door when he drives. Beautiful. Very nice to meet you. Here I am on the dusty, dirty streets of Tombstone, Arizona. And while this is not your typical revive and drive style or get the car running video, but what it is an adventure and exploration. People traveled all across this country to get from where they were to the future that they wanted somewhere in the West. And this is one of the stomping grounds for a lot of those people here in Tombstone, Arizona. And now while it's famous for the infamous gunfight at the OK Corral, It in fact lives on in infamy, even though it was completely destroyed by a fire shortly after that gunfight. It was rebuilt, and that history has been brought back and preserved here in the town of Tombstone. There's a lot of things to see, and a lot of history has been brought to keep it as historically accurate as possible. But if you're looking to see the actual place where the gunfight took place, you actually might be surprised that Hollywood may have embellished that just a bit. Now, walking along the streets of Tombstone, it's easy to see what they're trying to capitalize on. And who's to blame them? You're kind of out in the middle of nowhere. You got to have a draw. And here in Tombstone, it's the OK Corral. And of course, what trip would be complete without a visit to the OK Corral, where Hollywood says this gunfight actually occurred. Every day in Tombstone, there's a gunfight. Now, whether it's right here in the middle of Allen Street or inside in the air conditioning, you can see a gunfight daily here in Tombstone, Arizona. Here in Tombstone, Arizona, there's lots to see, lots to do, but be mindful of where you're going and where you step. This place has a little bit of something for everybody. Now, I'm out here early in the morning when there's not a lot of people out. Everything kind of gets going around 10 o'clock to noon, but I sure as heck don't want to be out here during high noon. And it's not because I'm afraid of getting shot. It's more the fact that this particular weekend, it's 105 degrees. Now, it may be a dry heat, but it's still hot. Well, things are heating up here in Tombstone, Arizona, so it's time to hit the road so we don't have any more overheating problems with the A-Team van. So, time to head east, eastbound and down. Now, I don't know if my viewers are history nuts like I am, but I know my friends are. So even though we love cars and we love adventure road trips, it's important to stop and learn the history along the way. And the saying goes, how do you know where you're going if you don't know where you've been? I've always wanted to stop here, but I always feel like the time that I can make to stop, I'm going the opposite direction, which is up this hill, going down the other way into Las Cruces. As I'm slow rolling back to the east, I decided to finally stop and check out this little monument, which overlooks this. Hey, I know somebody that has one of these old bases near their home. Oh yeah.
Well, what do you have back there, bro?
Nothing, just tools and stuff.
Tools?
Yep.
Nice. Have a good night.
Thank you. I pity the fool that don't get out of my way in traffic. I caught back up with Jay from Irish Outlaw Garage in Clovis, New Mexico after he had a bit of a breakdown with his ambulance Artemis. Did you call the A-team? What's up? With Artemis back on the road, I decided to follow Jay and Zeppy into Texas, where we stopped at one of the Mother Road holy grails of stops, Cadillac Ranch. The famous Cadillac Ranch, Amarillo, Texas. This is not my first time stopping here at Cadillac Ranch in Amarillo, Texas, but it is the first for these guys, so I'm lucky enough to join along with them and watch them have some fun. Even had to leave my mark on one of these beauties. I'm sure it'll be gone by tomorrow, but at least we know it was there today. I split ways with Jay and Zeppy, and they headed back to Illinois, and I headed back to home. Until I had to make an unscheduled stop. So, update on what's going on. I just crossed into Oklahoma, and I noticed that I wasn't getting vacuum to my climate control system. So as I'm looking at that, I'm noticing a smell of transmission fluid. And I look underneath and I see the transmission is puking just a little bit onto the exhaust and onto the ground. So I of course checked the dipstick, and for whatever reason my fluid is burnt. Not good. This was bright red trans fluid before. I don't know what happened. Me and transmissions are just about as bad as me and tires, I swear. But the right thing to do is to stop and see if I can't do some kind of repair, at least put fresh fluid and filter in it. I might smoke it more on the way home, I don't know, but let's give it a chance. Oh, the red and green store. Let's see if you can rescue me. So before everybody starts shouting, check the TV cable. I did. It's down here. So I pushed the button down here, pulled back on the sheath, which is this one, and I noticed that this was loose before I hit the button to tighten up the sheath. And then when you full throttle, it's supposed to auto adjust. I don't know how it got out of adjustment, but that might be why my transmission overheated. That's disheartening. Oh well, gotta change this out, so here we go. So I'm not sure if O'Reilly's condoned me doing this, but they saw what I was doing. They can't be surprised. So here I am with the oil cooler, drain pan, some shop towels, extra large funnel with the smaller tip, fluid, some fittings, some hoses, filter kit. Yeah, so might as well start crawling underneath and getting this started. I can promise you the smell is just amazing. Just so excited. When everything was going so well, I thought. Apparently not. I'm just gonna let it do its thing for a few minutes before I really have to get my hands in there. I don't really want to smell like dirty transmission fluid the whole way home. Things have escalated. I had to put the jack under the tail housing of the transmission, drop the cross member because that stupid pan is just too big to fit between the cross member and the exhaust pipe. Way to go, GM. Literally could have given me 1/8 of an inch on either end and we wouldn't have this problem. I may just trim that cross member when I get home and eliminate that problem for the future, but for now, get this pan completely dropped, get the filter changed, try to figure out why it's overheating. So this was bright red fluid whenever I left the house before I went to Tucson. So something had to be going on to let it just sit and burn up. That's nice. It's all clutch material. So I'm not sure why it was slipping, but it definitely was. All right, we'll get this drained into the pan, get everything cleaned up, change that filter, and then fill it back up. Well, I got a little cleanup left to do, but all of that is back where it should be. Cross member's tightened, pan is tightened. Have filters in there. Had to get that little gasket out of there and then put it in. But everything should be snugged up and hopefully not leaking once we fill it up. But I need to install this oil cooler now. So I picked up the best one on the shelf. It was a Hayden automotive transmission oil cooler. Supposed to help keep it cooler. And we're going to put it in series with our existing radiator because I don't think that the radiator was the issue. Looks like it comes with everything I need to get it mounted in. So let's pop the hood and make this happen. Okay, so I ended up putting the cooler right here. Got my in and my out. Ran that to the top side of the radiator transmission port there. Got those guys in there. Clamped down. Let's hope they don't leak. I've got about 7 quarts in there, so let's see what happens. Run for a minute. Shifts. All right, let's check the fluid. Guess that cooler takes a little bit more fluid than we expected. Well, I rechecked it. The fluid checked full, so I guess we run it and see what happens, and hope we don't spring a leak, or even worse, hope we don't burn up more of the transmission. All right, I went ahead and scrubbed the bugs off of it, but mostly wanted to get all that flammable stuff off the bottom there. It was sitting right on the exhaust, and I just wanted to get it hosed off a little bit. Got the bugs off. That'll get us home. And I gotta say, the TV cable adjustment, the new fluid and filter, seems to be shifting pretty good now, so let's get it home. Well guys, I made it home. It took a little longer than I'd hoped because I stopped to do that oil and filter change on the transmission. It seems to help a lot, and I've adjusted the TV cable. Everything seems to be doing pretty good, but I want to double check everything because this thing's going up for sale and you could own this. Hit me up at buffsgarage@gmail.com and shoot me an offer. At this point, I know about what I've got in it. It definitely met the qualifications for duct tape drags. So it's got 4 new tires, 3 of them match. It's got working AC. It's got a replaced engine with about 20,000 miles on it. And the whole van's got a little over 70,000 miles on it. So hey, just the light bar alone, that's a 52-inch LED from Oxbeam. Come on, shoot me an offer on this van and it could be yours. So that's all I got for this episode. Thank you guys for following along on my journey all the way from Oklahoma to Tucson and back, and all the excitement in between. Thanks to everybody I met along the way and all the folks at Duct Tape Drags. Thanks to David and Derek for putting on the event and all the folks that supported them. Thank you Pole Barn Garage and Irish Outlaw Garage and Mad Scientist Garage. We had a great time. Hung out with some friends from the UK at Pedalbox. Check them out on the socials. And remember, you can check out my socials, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and of course here at YouTube, Buff's Garage. And check out the merch, buffsgarage.com. Thank you guys for watching. See you next week. Now, I may wear the boots and I may walk down the street, but I'm no cowboy. And that doesn't refer to the infamous cowboys. That's just, I'm not the kind of guy that usually wears a cowboy hat and boots. But how do you come to Tombstone, Arizona and not at least put on some boots and maybe a hat? Between the famous OK Corral and the place where they ended up, Boot Hill Cemetery, there's something to see at every corner in Tombstone, Arizona.